Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the new ZT0044. I have to say I was ecstatic to see ZT pumping out some new designs. We reviewed the 0512 automatic on the channel not too long ago, and I gotta say I'm still enjoying this one. This is the first side opening automatic that I've carried on a consistent basis. You know, I know they're not cheap, I get it, and you know, if this is way out of the ballpark for you, then this video is probably not going to be for you, but I would love to have you stay. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I've handled a lot of button lock knives, and up until now, the reigning king for me with action was my ProTech Malibu. This is one that I've used quite a bit. I had some wear and tear on it. Don't get me wrong, it's got fantastic action. However, the new ZT0044 has dethroned it. This is hands down my best button lock action in the collection. So let's get into it. Of course, being this is ZT, this is a completely USA made knife. I love seeing that. This is a perfect medium size EDC, and for me it's a perfect EDC size at 7.55 inches overall. This one has a 3.2 inch drop point blade, and this one is in CPM S45VN, and I like S45. It's right there in the middle of S30 and S35 with edge retention. It's got a little bit of increased toughness, and it has better corrosion resistance. However, the blade's geometry and heat treatment is the most important aspect. This blade has a nice top swedge up there for some added flair. I think it looks nice. You do have a row of fine cut jimping. It's a small row, but it is effective, gripping the thumb nicely. You have a fairly stout tip there, so if you need to do some twisting and turning, you should be perfectly fine. And I'm pretty certain ZT still has their lifetime warranty. Still has the same belt satin finish that ZT has done for years now. You know, it's okay. It's not my favorite finish. I wish they would do like on the flats right here. They got a nice raw stone wash finish on the flats. It's a nice contrast with the blade, but I would have loved that on the entire blade. It just hides wear so much better. The sharpening choil on this one is pretty good. You can see that, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but the plunge starts to thicken up around about there. So you're going to have a lot of sharpening before you have to worry about anything starting to smile on you or anything, because you're hitting this thicker portion. So great job there. Even though we're in a nice EDC package, you still have some of the attributes that ZT was known for, you know, for those heavier duty knives. And it's evident in the blade. You have fairly thick blade stock for a folder at 0.12, especially a folder this size. And this one has a pretty high flat grind on it. Not a full flat, but, you know, decent height flat grind. And it comes down to around 24 thousandths behind the edge. So not super thin behind the edge, but that's not the biggest deal. As long as it's nice and sharp, it should slice really well. And this one came with a 22 degrees per side edge bevel from factory. And I think it's time we do a little testing. So I enjoyed cutting with this one. And I can promise you right now, it performed good. But it's going to perform dramatically better after the first, maybe second and third sharpening. So I'm going to put this one on the stones as soon as I'm done with this review. Now let's take a look at the deployment and action of this knife. So this is a flipper only knife. I don't love flipper onlys, but this is one of the best flippers I've handled in a while. You got some jimping there. And as you can see, the front of that flipper sits in front of that pivot, so you can have a lot more momentum once that blade is released from that detent. And talk about a crisp break. And I don't know if y'all can hear the little ting, but you have some reverberation somewhere up in here. Of course, once you release that, it's a complete free dropper. No friction holding it once that plunger is depressed. Yeah, it's definitely an addictive action. That jimping grabs the finger perfectly, and it does kind of hook up a little bit, but I find, you know, to do a light switch, it's nice and fast. And if I want to load up a little bit on the corner of that, I can, and it comes out even faster. So just depends on how you like to deploy your knives. I wouldn't mind putting, maybe I might put like a quick stud on it at this review so I can get a nice little thumb opening on it. Wish ZT would do more thumb deploying knives. Blade hole would be awesome as well. So let's close it up, take a look at the handle area. So you have blasted and tumbled titanium scales. It's got like a light gray blasting on it and a nice tumbled finish there. So it should not be super easy to put snail trails on it, or not as easy as say like a Sabenza is with their older, darker blasted finishes. You got a deep chamfer going all the way around. They did a great job. There's no sharp edges or angles anywhere. They rounded over each corner. Everything is done very, very well. I thought the ergos were fantastic, especially being that these are technically flat scales with deep chamfers that make it feel more contoured in hand. The pocket clip didn't bother my hands at all. This reverse pull grip is pretty comfortable as long as you stay away from the flipper tab. I mean, even with that there, you could do a few pull cuts, no problem. And then the reverse gas station knife fight grip is comfortable because you have this rounded section and the flipper tab is acting as a guard. So if you need to stab this into some wood to make some feather sticks, you can do that. Your tip should be able to support it and the lock should be able to support it. You have very minimal hardware here. You have this pretty cool looking pivot. Because of the way this one's shaped, it's going to be a captured pivot, so you don't have to worry about anything free spinning on you. And in typical ZT fashion, you have nice large fasteners. I'm pretty sure these are all T8. Yeah, you have T8 here, T8 pivot, and it looks like that's T6 for the clip screws. Yeah, the only T6 you have is for the clip screw, and thankfully, you don't have to remove the clip to take apart the knife. You just unscrew on this side and then take that off, and you should be able to open this one up. You do have a deep carry clip. It's pretty deep. It's not all the way to the end, but you know, you just gotta have just that little bit sticking out. I would have loved to see this clip inset into the titanium. At least they countersunk the screws, and you know, even if they didn't countersink the clip into the frame, it would have been nice to have that front portion of the tab right there, front of the screw, to be rounded over like I've seen before. Look at that nice large barrel spacer there. Very, very cool. And it's anodized green. I'm guessing that's titanium because it's like a seafoam green, blue green, that matches the titanium. It's basically like a button collar over the actual button, I'm guessing. And if you look at this in a macro, it almost looks like a fine orange peel texture, so I'm guessing it's just the blast media. Your pocket clip is tapped for left-handed carry. Also, the blade centering is, it looks like it's right down, it might be to the right a hair. I can't really, it's hard for me to tell. My eyes suck. If it is to the right, I'm sure I can make a quick adjustment because it looks perfect to me, but I don't know. Then something I did notice as well, just like they always do, on the inside right here, it says 0 tolerance milled in there so they can keep the billboarding off the scales, but they still have it on the blade. You have tons of internal weight relieving on the titanium scales on the show side and on the lock side, as you can see, as much as they possibly could, because you have these solid tie scales, pretty chunky blade stock, so it's going to add some extra heft, bringing the weight to 95.5 grams or 3.368 ounces. Fantastic. Not to mention, they also nailed the balance point there, and it definitely makes this one feel even lighter than those 3 ounces. Definitely going to be much more nimble in hand. Your button lock has a nice little recess spot so you don't accidentally disengage it. You got to be very deliberate, and hopefully you can see that there's your engagement right there, and then you got a nice large stop pin there. Now let's see, did this off camera, but I mean super solid. I did not expect anything less. Now for some quick size comparisons. It's in the middle of the Ontario Rat 1 and 2, more similar to the Rat 2. It's also in the middle of the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3. And as you can see here, it's a little smaller than the ZT0512 and the Kershaw Launch Iridium. And lastly, it's just a hair. I mean, a minuscule hair longer than the ProTech Malibu and the Benchmade Bug Out. Now, being that absolutely no knife's perfect, what are my nitpicks and complaints? I would love to see a different finish than this satin finish here. I wish we could get an entire blade done in that stone wash. it just hides wear really well. The satin does smudge up. It is a nice slick finish, but you know, I know they've done, you know, they got stuff like this with coated blades and two-tone blades, but I would love to see more raw stone wash finishes. That's just me personally. I know not everybody likes that, but I do personally, and I've seen their same belt satin finish for years now, so it could just be a nice change. Also, you already have the thick blade stock. I think it would have been nice if they could thin out these edges just a little bit more. It would still be super tough, but instead of 24 thousandths, at least to 20 thousandths. That would be great. Now, 24 is not terrible as long as you have a decent thinness on that edge bevel if you want it to slice really, really well. But at least, you know, if they brought it to 20 thousandths behind the edge, it would be nice to go lower, but 20 thousandths, and then you could decide how tough you want it by the edge bevel you put on it, because you got the support of the blade stock on this one, and you know, 20 thousandths is still enough behind the edge to make it more than adequate in the strength department, especially for a folder of this size. But that may just be me. And lastly, I really wish we'd have seen this clip inset into the titanium. And I don't know, it doesn't bug me, but I know it probably bugs a lot of people when you have a premium knife, especially at the price point these go for, and you're getting a stainless steel clip. I much rather the way the clip functions, and this clip does function really, really well. So I don't mind it, but I do know some people are going to be upset that it doesn't have a milled tie clip. But one thing's for certain, I am so happy to be working with ZT. You know, that's always been a dream of mine. I've owned plenty of their knives that I bought, and to be able to collaborate with one of my US companies, that was a goal of mine. I'm working on more if that's something y'all enjoy. Like I said, I know this one's not cheap by a long shot. If it's way out of your budget or you never spend this kind of money, I'm not trying to push this on anybody. Now, if you're somebody who is planning on buying it and you want to help support the channel, you can use my links in the description. If not, no sweat at all. I just appreciate having y'all here, especially this long into the video. Y'all are my true supporters. This is the best flipping action in my collection, and I'm talking flipping action in general. This thing rockets out. I love the sounds it makes, how fast it flips, and I'm not even a flipper guy. For me, it was comfortable, slicey enough. I think it's a good looking knife. You know, it's a pretty safe design. This is an in-house design for them. You can see right there. So that's going to wrap up today's video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. I hope every single one of y'all is having a fantastic day. And remember, keep those blades sharp, smile more. Peace.